Hi, I'm Jason. This is my review of the Moza Mini S smartphone gimbal. So this is how it's going to come packaged. Nice sturdy box. As you pull this out, you will see inside a couple of different things. So first of all, the actual gimbal folds up really compactly here. There's a couple cords here. One of them is a charging cord. One of them is if your phone doesn't have Bluetooth, I think is what it's for. You can still connect it using a little port on the side that I'll show you in a second. And then there's a little mini tripod here that will screw into the bottom of the gimbal that I'll show you in a second. But let's pull this out and I'll show you a couple things. Forgot to mention there's also kind of a felt feeling little bag here. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. That's not going to provide any protection. I'm still going to store it in the box probably or get something else to put it in. But so here's the gimbal, and a couple of things right at first. You'll notice very compact. There's a slider here on this side that's going to lock it. As I slide that towards me and then rotate this, now I've got that gimbal extended, and then it's off right now, but you'll see the rotation. This will lock, and you just slide it out of place for the rotation this way, and then the rotation there, of course, 3 different directions. So a couple different controls on the front. The power button is this red one here. As you power it up, you'll see the blue battery meter come on and feel a little vibration. If I push it again, it'll go into standby mode. So that's an easy way to kind of put it into standby when you're putting the actual phone in there. Otherwise, it's going to be fighting you to try and keep it stable, if that makes sense. I'll show you some of the other controls once I've got my phone in there. On the other side from the power button, you'll find this zoom control, which, as you might assume, only works if you have the Bluetooth connected and you're using the Moza app. But it does a good job as well of letting you zoom in and out while you've just got your thumb and all your controls right there, which is nice as well. So pretty simple, just pulls apart here to open up so you can slide the phone in there. This is a Moto Z3 Play. I'm going to slide in there here. And then before you do anything else, you want to get it pretty well balanced on this rotation. So right now I've got a little too much weight going that way. I'm going to slide it up just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you have it more or less balanced there, that's helpful. Then if I push my power button again, you'll see it actually lock into place. So now it's stabilizing there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. So I'm actually going to put it back in standby so it's not fighting me while I turn this on. And you can use this without the Moza Genie app. I can just use my camera app. And obviously I can still do photos, I can still do video here, but I'm going to show you most of this in the Moza Genie app because it has some really cool features. Okay, so first thing you want to do is right here connect to the Bluetooth, and you want to make sure the gimbal's on and standby, so you can do that. As we click there, it's going to connect to the Bluetooth. And then a couple displays here, so this is going to show me pictures or videos I've taken in the past. This one is for calibration, and also you can control the zoom speed and disconnect the gimbal if you need to. That's going to be record, or if I double press this up button, that red turns white, and now it's just for taking a picture. I'm going to double press that again to switch it back. This will change the camera direction, and then this will bring you into settings. So again, switch camera direction, playback, spirit level will show you if you look here, and it works better if I've got the gimbal actually on, but you can see that I'm right in the center of that, and as I tilt that, it should stay pretty leveled there. I don't know if you can make that out, it's kind of small, but so that's spirit level. And then there's a couple cool shooting modes. We can do video, taking pictures, of course, and then there's time-lapse, motion time-lapse, and slow motion. So motion time-lapse lets you do those time-lapses you've seen where it starts in one position and then as the time-lapse goes, it moves. And I'll show you an example of one of those that I've done, but pretty cool. There's a lot of options here. So what I want to do now is I can set different locations where I want it to be. So as I move it, then I set another point here, and then I set another point here, and then when I actually go and start the time lapse, it's going to ask me what's the shutter interval, how long do I want that to be. I'm going to do a 3-second one. I'm not actually doing it right now. Total duration, how long do I want the time lapse to go for, and then it'll start that. Okay, now there's a lot of tutorials out here. This isn't, the purpose of doing this isn't to be a tutorial, but I do want to show you a couple of cool things that this device does. So there's a lot of kind of shortcuts. First of all, let me put that back out of standby mode. So the joystick here is going to control the movement of the camera, of the phone. So as I push to the right, the way I think about it is if I want to see what's to the right of what's currently in the frame, I'll push right. If I want to see what's to the left of what's currently in the frame, I'll push left. If I want to see what's above the frame, I push up. If I want to see what's below the frame, I push down. So that's kind of how I think through that. And then there's a lot of different shortcuts on these buttons here. First of all, this middle button that has a camera on it will either start video or take a picture depending which mode you're in. If you double press this up button, it will switch. You see the little red go to white, it'll switch from camera to video. If you hold, it will switch from front facing to rear facing camera. And then these different buttons have different things that they will do. Automatically it's going to be in pan follow mode, meaning if I am going from side to side, it's going to follow that movement a little bit, and I'll try and kind of show you that. But as I move right or move left, it's following that movement smoothly. Now, if I hold the trigger button here, instead of being in pan follow, I'm going to be in tilt follow. So if I hold that trigger down, now as I move down, it's going to tilt down. As I move up, it's going to tilt up. But on the side to side, it's not going to move at all. If I double press and hold that, meaning press, hold, now it's in all locked mode, meaning it's not moving any direction that I move it. It's going to stay perfectly still there. Now, if I double press this left button, then that's going to put me into roll follow mode, which means as I roll this way, it's going to follow that roll movement. The side to side, it's not going to follow, shouldn't anyway, and the up and down, it's not going to follow. To get out of that, I'll double press that again. Okay, now if you triple press the down button, let me get back to main mode here. If you triple press this down button, it will take you into what's called inception mode. And if I now move this joystick, it will tilt my camera back and forth like this, so I can get different angles, or if I want to, just kind of get that effect that you see sometimes in the movies. So that's inception mode. And again, if I double press that trigger, everything's going to come back to normal there. And then there's also, you can use these different buttons to navigate different things. This right one is going to bring me back to my gallery where I have the videos and pictures I've shot. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's different shortcuts and things you can do there as well. On the very bottom, you've got a place you can put either that mini tripod, or you can put it onto a plate, but on a normal tripod. I'll show you that as well. All right, so this mini tripod is going to open up its arms like this, and then spin right onto the bottom of the gimbal. This is useful, of course, if you're doing time-lapse, motion time-lapse, or the object tracker mode, which I'll show you in just a minute here. So with that on there, and that closes up too, you can almost just leave it on there and still use it, kind of have it on there all the time sort of thing. So let me show you the object tracker real quick. So the object tracker can really be used two different ways. Number one, you can have the camera stationary and it following something. The example they give on their Amazon page is, a skateboarder or, some kind of sports something, or if you're doing a vlog or a YouTube how-to video and you want it to follow you, but you don't want to have a cameraman there doing it. That's number one way you can use it. Number two is you can be walking, moving, and have it focus on something. There's a lot of videos online of people doing that and then doing speeding that up so it looks like you're in a car or driving or something, but it gives you this really smooth look to it. So let me show you just kind of the basics of how it works. So again, I can either have it in front-facing camera or rear-facing camera mode. For the sake of this, I'm just going to do it in front-facing camera mode. And then this little button right here is the object tracking button. Now, obviously, there's not much here that I can track. Let me aim this up a little bit and we'll catch maybe the light right there. And then it's going to put this green box around it and should track that as I move the camera around. And you can do the same thing in rear-facing camera view, which is what I'm going to do. And then I'll record both of those and kind of show you the output. So if I pick that up on my face and then hit record as I move this around, it'll stay focused right there on my face. And I'll show you an example of one that I did where I'm actually moving, walking, and focusing in on a building. That's the second option. Now let me show you an example of the time lapse. I'm going to put this up on the tripod. Okay, so again, we're going to go to motion time lapse. Please connect device first. For some reason it's not thinking it's connected. Okay. We'll reconnect here. There we go. And then go to motion time lapse. And it's going to give us some instructions here. What we want to do first is set our location points. So I'm going to hit plus here for this first point, and then using the joystick, I'm going to move that a little bit this way. Sorry, that's not picking up real good. I got my brightness all the way up. There we go. And hit plus there again. And for the sake of simplicity, let's just do 2 there and then have it go up towards the sky and do a third one. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to bring it back down so you can see what I'm doing next. Yep, so we're going to go to the next step. 3-second interval is fine. Total duration, let's just do 2 minutes. And we're going to launch that. That's automatically going to move to the location of that first point as we do that. And then if you watch, of course, it'll be kind of hard to appreciate, but that's going to slowly move from one point to the next. So what we get as a final product, you can kind of see there if you look at the reflection changing on my camera. What we get as a final product, I will show you at the end, but it's just slowly moving from point 1 to point 2, and then we'll see it tipping up for point 3. And again, here's how you can kind of see that attached to the tripod. So I will show you that finished product in just a second here. So overall, I've got to say I'm really happy with this product. It seems like it's excellent quality, very well made. I like all the features. I like all the shortcuts, different ways to use this. One thing that I feel like is still a little bit glitchy is the image. What is it called? One thing that I do feel like is a little bit glitchy still that didn't always work for me was trying to follow something on the screen there. Using that function for me seemed like it worked about half the time. Seemed like it worked better if it was something further away like a building, and obviously if there's more of a plain background. But still really cool technology, and for the price pretty hard to beat. Does a good job stabilizing things. I do wish that there was an option to have a frame rate that more matched what my camera or my native phone app is going to be, my native phone camera app is going to be shooting at. I ran into some issues with that, trying to pull those in to resolve and edit them, and the audio being choppy. But overall, a great product that I'm really happy with, and I hope you will be too.